Chosen ones, this message isn't random. You were meant to hear it. That stirring in your heart, that quickening in your spirit as you clicked on this video, it's not coincidence, it's divine alignment. You didn't stumble here by chance. Heaven hunted you down. Right now, as the world spins in chaos, God has pressed pause on the noise to speak directly to you. This is your moment, your divine appointment, the hour when the Creator of the universe leans in to whisper your name. Are you tired of carrying burdens that feel too heavy for your shoulders? Have you been praying into what seems like silence, wondering if God has forgotten you? Have you stood at the edge of your dreams, paralyzed by the fear that you're not enough? Listen closely, chosen one. This message is your wake-up call. It's time to shatter the chains of doubt, step through the fear, and claim the destiny written for you before the stars were hung in the sky. Picture a radiant scroll unfurling in the courts of heaven. Your name etched in golden ink, shimmering with divine purpose. That's not a fantasy. It's the reality of who you are in God's eyes. You're not just another soul lost in the crowd. You're a chosen vessel, handpicked for a mission that echoes through eternity. This video unveils a truth so powerful, it will shake the very foundations of your fear. Your deepest insecurities, the ones that keep you awake at night, are not your weakness. They're the keys to your greatest breakthrough. Every moment you've felt overlooked, every tear you've shed in secret, every door that slammed shut in your face wasn't rejection, it was redirection. God was sculpting you, refining you, preparing you for a purpose so magnificent it required every trial to forge you into who you are today. Let's start with a truth that might make your heart race. You weren't born to blend in. You were born to stand out, to shine like a beacon in a world cloaked in darkness. Jeremiah 1:5 declares, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." That's not a promise for someone else. It's for you. God didn't just create you, He designed you with intention, with a divine blueprint that no one else in history can fulfill. But here's the catch. The enemy knows this too. That's why your life has been a battlefield. Every doubt, every setback, every whisper of "you're not enough" is a calculated attack to keep you from stepping into your spiritual awakening. The devil doesn't fight what doesn't threaten him. The intensity of your struggles is proof of the magnitude of your destiny. Think about it. Have you ever felt a weight in your chest, a longing for something more, even when life seemed fine on the surface? That's not discontentment. That's divine restlessness. It's the Holy Spirit stirring within you, reminding you that you were made for more than ordinary. You've carried burdens others couldn't see, fought battles others couldn't understand, and held on to faith when everything screamed to let go. Why? Because you're not just surviving. You're being shaped for a personal transformation that will ripple across generations. Imagine a river, steady and unyielding, carving through stone over years to create a canyon of breathtaking beauty. That's what God has been doing with you. Every hardship, every closed door, every moment of doubt has been carving out the capacity for you to carry His glory. Let me tell you about Maria, a single mother from Chicago who felt like her dreams were buried under the weight of bills and endless responsibilities. For years, she prayed for a breakthrough, but doors kept closing. Job rejections, broken relationships, health struggles. She felt forgotten, like God had overlooked her name. But one night, scrolling through her phone, she stumbled on a message like this one. Her heart raced, not because the words were new, but because they felt like they were written for her. Maria decided to act. She wrote down one goal: to start a small bakery, something she'd dreamed of since she was a child. She called a friend she hadn't spoken to in years, someone who believed in her vision. That call led to a loan, a shared kitchen space, and within 6 months, Maria's bakery was feeding her community and funding a local youth program. Her story isn't a fairy tale. It's a testimony of what happens when you trust God's plan over your pain. You might be thinking, that's inspiring, but my situation is different. I've failed too many times. I'm too old, too broken, too far gone. Let me stop you right there. Moses was 80 when he stood before Pharaoh to demand freedom for a nation. Sarah was 90 when she gave birth to Isaac, the child of promise. The Bible is filled with stories of people who seemed disqualified by the world's standards, but were chosen by God's. Your past doesn't define you, it refines you. Every mistake, every regret, every moment you thought you lost your way was God redirecting you toward your faith journey. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Your brokenness isn't a barrier, it's the very soil where God plants his miracles. Here's where this gets practical. You're not just here to feel inspired, you're here to act. God's plan for your life isn't a distant dream. It's a divine purpose waiting for you to step into it. Let's break this down into 3 specific steps you can take right now to move toward your breakthrough. First, write down one goal that's been burning in your heart. It could be starting a business, pursuing a ministry, or even mending a relationship. Make it clear, make it specific, and put it on paper. Writing it down isn't just a task, it's a declaration to heaven that you're ready to move. Second, reach out to one person who can support your vision. Maybe it's a friend, a mentor, or someone you've lost touch with. Send that text, make that call, take that step. Connection is the bridge between isolation and opportunity. Third, take one small action toward your goal today. If you want to start a project, research one resource. If you're seeking reconciliation, write a letter, even if you don't send it yet. These steps aren't just actions, they're acts of faith, signaling to God that you're ready to walk in his promises. If this message is stirring something in your spirit, I want you to pause and type in the comments, "I am claiming my divine moment." Your words aren't just a comment, they're a spiritual marker, a declaration that you're stepping into your destiny. Share this moment with others in the comments below, because your courage could be the spark someone else needs to take their first step. Imagine thousands of chosen ones, just like you, declaring their faith and building a community of warriors who refuse to let fear win. Join them. Type it now. I am claiming my divine moment. Now let's address the fear that's trying to hold you back. Fear is a liar, whispering that you're not ready, that you'll fail, that this moment isn't really yours. But let me tell you a secret. Fear only has the power you give it. Picture a lion roaring fiercely, but chained to a stake in the ground. That's fear. Loud, intimidating, but powerless when you step forward in faith. Joshua 1:9 commands, "Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Every time you've felt afraid, every time you've hesitated, God was still there, waiting for you to trust him. Think about David facing Goliath. His knees might have trembled, but his faith was stronger than his fear. He didn't wait for the giant to shrink. He acted, and God turned a slingshot into a weapon of victory. Let's talk about another real story. James, a teacher from Atlanta, spent years feeling stuck in a job that drained his soul. He dreamed of writing a book about his faith journey, but fear of failure kept him paralyzed. What if no one read it? What if he wasn't good enough? One evening, he heard a message that felt like it was written for him. Instead of brushing it off, he took action. He wrote one page that night. Just one. That page became a chapter, then a manuscript, and today James's book is in the hands of people across his community, inspiring them to trust God's timing. His fear didn't vanish, he acted through it. And his breakthrough came not because he was perfect, but because he was willing. You might be wondering, why now? Why does this feel so urgent? Because this is your divine moment. Heaven has set a timer, not because God is impatient, but because seasons shift. Isaiah 55:6 urges, "Seek the Lord while he may be found. Call on him while he is near." There's a window open right now, a moment when your yes can change everything. Miss it, and you might wander longer than you need to, like the Israelites who turned an 11-day journey into 40 years because they let fear outweigh faith. But you don't have to repeat their story. Your scroll is open, your name is called, and your destiny is waiting. Let's paint a picture. Imagine standing before a door, glowing with celestial light, your name carved in gold across its surface. It's not locked, but it's heavy, requiring you to push with all your faith. On the other side isn't just a blessing, it's a legacy. Rooms filled with the lives you'll touch, the chains you'll break, the dreams you'll bring to life. This door doesn't lead to comfort, it leads to impact. It's not about you getting what you want. It's about you becoming who God created you to be. Every step you take toward this door is a step away from the lies that have held you back. Lies that you're too small, too broken, too late. Those lies are crumbling, and the truth is rising. You are chosen, you are called, and you are ready. Here's where this gets even more practical. Those 3 steps: writing a goal, reaching out to someone, taking one small action. They're not just tasks. They're keys to unlock your spiritual awakening. When you write that goal, you're telling God, "I trust your vision for my life." When you reach out to someone, you're breaking the isolation the enemy uses to keep you stuck. When you take that small action, you're proving that your faith has feet. These steps aren't about perfection. They're about progress. God doesn't need you to have it all figured out. He needs you to be willing to move. Let's address the skepticism some of you might feel. Maybe you're thinking, "I've heard messages like this before and nothing changed." I hear you. Disappointment is real, and it can make hope feel like a risk. But here's the difference. This moment isn't about hype. It's about alignment. You're not here by accident. The fact that you're still listening, still hoping, still believing, despite every letdown, is proof that God's hand is on you. Romans 15:13 says, "May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit." Your hope isn't foolish, it's holy. It's the spark that keeps you moving toward your divine purpose. Imagine a seed buried in dark soil, pressed down by the weight of the earth. It doesn't look like much, but inside it holds the blueprint for a mighty tree. That's you. Every trial has been the soil, every tear the water, every prayer the sunlight. You're not buried, you're planted. And right now, God is calling you to break through the surface, to grow into the fullness of who He created you to be. Your breakthrough isn't coming, it's here. It's not a distant promise. It's a present reality, but it requires you to act, to trust, to step forward. If this message is igniting a fire in your soul, pause and type in the comments, "I am claiming my divine moment." Your declaration isn't just words, it's a spiritual contract, a commitment to walk in faith. Share this video with someone who needs to know they're not forgotten, someone standing at their own threshold. By sharing, you're not just spreading a message, you're spreading hope. becoming part of someone else's divine appointment. And if you haven't already, join thousands of chosen souls by subscribing to stay connected to your divine purpose. Your subscription isn't just a click. It's a step toward a community that will stand with you as you walk into your destiny. Let's talk about the stakes. This isn't just about you. Your obedience, your courage, your yes to God's call affects others. There are people, some you know, some you'll never meet, whose breakthroughs are tied to your faith. Maybe it's a child who needs your example, a friend who needs your encouragement, a community that needs your vision. When you step through this door, you're not just changing your story, you're rewriting history. Think about Esther. She didn't just save herself, she saved a nation. Her courage at one critical moment shifted the fate of generations. That's the kind of impact God has planned for you. Here's another truth to anchor you. Your fear, your doubt, your hesitation, they're not signs you're unfit for this moment. They're signs you're human. Even Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane felt the weight of what was coming. He prayed, "Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me." But then he said, "Yet not my will, but yours be done." That's the key, surrender, not to fear, but to God's plan. Your surrender doesn't make you weak, it makes you unstoppable. It's the moment you hand over your limitations and let God's power take over. Let's revisit those 3 steps one more time, because they're your roadmap. First, write that goal. It's not just a dream, it's a seed of faith. Second, reach out to someone. Connection breaks the enemy's hold on your isolation. Third, take one small action. It's not about leaping mountains, it's about taking the next step. These steps are your declaration that you're done waiting, done doubting, done letting fear write your story. They're your way of saying, "God, I'm ready for my personal transformation." You might be feeling a mix of excitement and fear right now. That's normal. It's the tension between who you've been and who God is calling you to be. Picture a butterfly, moments before it breaks free from its chrysalis. It's not comfortable, it's a struggle, but that struggle is what gives it the strength to fly. Your struggle is your strength. Every moment you've felt stretched, every time you've pushed through pain, God was building wings for your faith journey. You're not just surviving, you're preparing to soar. Let me share one final story. Rachel, a nurse from Seattle, spent years feeling like her life was stuck in a loop of exhaustion and unfulfilled dreams. She wanted to start a community health program, but kept telling herself she wasn't ready, didn't have the resources, didn't have the time. One day, she heard a message that felt like a divine arrow to her heart. She took 3 steps. She wrote down her vision for the program, called a colleague who shared her passion, and researched one grant opportunity. That was 6 months ago. Today, Rachel's program serves hundreds of families, and she's training others to expand it. Her fear didn't disappear, she just refused to let it stop her. What could your 3 steps unlock? As we move deeper into this message, know that heaven is watching. Angels are leaning in, waiting to see if you'll trust God enough to act. Your scroll is open, your door is waiting, and your destiny is closer than you think. This isn't about perfection, it's about obedience. It's not about having all the answers, it's about trusting the one who does. You are chosen, not because you're flawless, but because you're faithful. You are called, not because you're fearless, but because you're willing to move despite fear. If this message is resonating, if you feel that holy fire burning in your chest, type in the comments, "I am claiming my divine moment." Your words are a signal to heaven, a commitment to step into your spiritual awakening. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that their moment hasn't passed, that God hasn't forgotten them. Your share could be the key that unlocks their breakthrough. And if you're ready to stay connected to this journey, subscribe and hit the notification bell to join a community of chosen ones walking boldly into their divine purpose. You're standing at a threshold, chosen one. On one side is the familiar, the doubts, the fears, the patterns that have kept you small. On the other side is your destiny, a life of impact, of purpose, of unshakable faith. The door is open, but it won't stay that way forever. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. This is your time. The question isn't whether God is ready, it's whether you are. Let's talk about what's on the other side of this door. It's not just blessings, it's responsibility. It's not just breakthrough, it's legacy. It's not just answers, it's authority. When you step through, you're not just receiving, you're becoming. You're becoming the person who breaks generational curses, who brings light to dark places, who carries hope for those who've lost it. Imagine a field, vast and golden, stretching as far as your eyes can see. That's the harvest God has prepared for you, not just to enjoy, but to steward. Your yes today doesn't just change your life, it changes the lives of those who will follow you. You might be asking, what if I step through and stumble? Here's the truth. God doesn't promise a stumble-free journey, but He promises to be with you. Psalm 37:24 says, though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with His hand. Your stumbles aren't failures, they're steps toward victory. Every time you get up, you're stronger. Every time you try again, you're closer. Every time you trust God over fear, you're rewriting your story. Those 3 steps, writing a goal, reaching out, taking action, are your bridge to the other side. They're not just tasks, they're declarations of faith. When you write that goal, you're planting a seed. When you reach out, you're building a community. When you act, you're proving that your faith is alive. James 2:17 says, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. Your faith isn't dead, it's ready to move mountains. So take those steps, not because you feel ready, but because you trust the one who called you. As we continue, feel the weight of this moment. Heaven is holding its breath, waiting for your response. The enemy is trembling, knowing that your yes could shake his kingdom. Your life isn't random, it's ordained. Your struggles weren't pointless, they were purposeful. Your destiny isn't a dream, it's a divine reality waiting for you to claim it. You're not just chosen, you're commissioned. You're not just called, you're empowered. You're not just hoping, you're stepping into your breakthrough. If this message is setting your spirit ablaze, type in the comments, I am claiming my divine moment. Your declaration is a battle cry, a signal that you're done letting fear hold you back. Share this video with someone who needs to know their door is still open, that their destiny is still waiting, and join thousands of chosen ones by subscribing to stay anchored in your divine purpose. Your next step could change everything, not just for you, but for those who need your light. You're standing at the edge of something monumental, chosen one, and the air around you is charged with divine anticipation. This isn't just another moment, it's the hinge on which your future swings, the threshold where your past surrenders to your purpose. The scroll in heaven with your name isn't gathering dust, it's glowing, pulsing with the promises God spoke over you before time began. Every trial you've endured, every whisper of doubt you've silenced, every prayer you've uttered in the quiet of your heart has led you here. This is no accident. You were meant to hear this message, to feel this fire, to stand before this radiant door carved with your destiny. The question now is not whether God has called you. He has. The question is whether you'll trust him enough to cross over. Picture a vast ocean, its waves crashing with untamed power, yet in the distance, a lighthouse stands unshaken, its beam cutting through the storm. That's you, chosen one. The storms of life, rejection, loss, fear, have tried to drown you, but God has anchored you for a purpose. You're not just meant to survive the waves, you're meant to guide others to shore. Your light, forged in the furnace of your trials, is what the world needs. But here's the truth that might shake you. A lighthouse doesn't shine by staying hidden. It shines by standing tall, by embracing its role, by refusing to dim its glow. Right now, God is calling you to shine, not for your own glory, but for His, for the countless souls waiting for your courage to light their way. Let's dive deeper into what makes this moment different. You've felt stirrings before, moments when you sensed something bigger was calling you. Maybe you acted on it, maybe you hesitated, but this time the urgency is undeniable. Why? Because this is a divine convergence, a moment when heaven's timeline aligns with your life. Think of Noah, who built an ark when the skies were clear. The world mocked him, but he trusted God's voice over human logic. Or consider Ruth, who left everything familiar to follow Naomi into an uncertain future. Her obedience didn't just change her life, it positioned her in the lineage of Jesus. Your obedience today could have that kind of eternal impact. This isn't about chasing fleeting success, it's about stepping into a legacy that outlives you. You might be wrestling with a question, how do I know this is really my moment? Let me answer with a truth that will anchor your soul. The fact that you're still here, still listening, still holding on to hope, despite every battle you've faced, is your confirmation. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Your faith, battered but unbroken, is the evidence that God is moving. It's the substance of the promises you can't yet see, but feel in your bones. That restlessness in your spirit isn't random. It's the Holy Spirit nudging you toward your divine purpose. Your heart knows what your mind is still processing. This message was crafted for you. Let's talk about the lies that have tried to keep you from this moment. The enemy has whispered that you're too ordinary, that your life doesn't matter, that your dreams are too big for someone like you. But those lies are crumbling under the weight of God's truth. You are not ordinary. You are ordained. John 15:16 declares, "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit. Fruit that will last." Your life matters because God says it does. Your dreams aren't too big. They're God-sized, designed to stretch your faith and showcase His power. The enemy fights hardest when you're closest to your breakthrough, and the intensity of his lies right now is proof you're standing at the edge of something extraordinary. Imagine a tapestry woven with threads of every color, each strand representing a moment in your life, your joys, your sorrows, your victories, your defeats. From up close, it might look chaotic, but step back and you'll see a masterpiece. That's how God sees your life. Every thread, even the dark ones, has been woven with purpose. Your struggles weren't random, they were strategic, shaping you into someone who can carry the weight of your calling. Isaiah 61:3 promises that God will give you a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. Your ashes are becoming a crown, chosen one, but you must step forward to receive it. Let's ground this in another story. Meet Daniel, a mechanic from a small town in Ohio. For years he felt trapped in a cycle of dead-end jobs and unmet expectations. He had a dream to open a community center for at-risk youth, a place where kids could find mentorship and hope, but doubt held him back. Doubt in himself, doubt in his resources, doubt in his ability to make a difference. One evening, feeling defeated, he stumbled across a message that felt like a divine interruption. Instead of scrolling past, he paused. He wrote down his vision for the center, called an old friend who worked in non-profits, and researched one local grant. Those small steps led to partnerships, funding, and within a year Daniel's center was serving dozens of kids, giving them a future he once thought impossible. His story isn't about luck, it's about faith in action. Those 3 steps you've already heard, writing a goal, reaching out to someone, taking one small action, are your lifeline to this moment. They're not just suggestions, they're spiritual keys. When you wrote that goal, you planted a seed in heaven's soil. When you reached out, you broke the enemy's grip of isolation. When you took that action, you proved your faith is alive. These steps aren't about earning God's favor, you already have it. They're about aligning your life with His promises. They're your declaration that you're ready to walk in your spiritual awakening, not as a spectator, but as a warrior. If this message is setting your heart ablaze, pause and type in the comments, "I am answering my divine call." Your words are more than a comment. They're a vow, a signal to heaven that you're ready to move. Share this moment with others in the comments, because your declaration could be the courage someone else needs to step forward. Imagine a global army of chosen ones, united by faith, proclaiming their purpose. Be part of that movement. Type it now. I am answering my divine call. Let's address the resistance you might be feeling. Maybe there's a voice in your head saying, "This sounds too good to be true." That's not wisdom, it's the enemy's last attempt to keep you small. The devil doesn't want you to know that your breakthrough is closer than you think. He doesn't want you to see that the door before you isn't locked. It's waiting for your faith to push it open. 2 Corinthians 10:5 commands us to take captive every thought, to make it obedient to Christ. That doubt, that hesitation, that fear, take it captive. Replace it with the truth. You are chosen, you are equipped, and you are enough because God is with you. Picture a bridge spanning a chasm, its planks sturdy but swaying in the wind. On one side is your past, every mistake, every regret, every moment you felt unworthy. On the other side is your destiny, a life of purpose, impact, and unshakable faith. The bridge is your faith, and every step you take strengthens it. You don't need to see the entire path, you just need to trust the one who built the bridge. Psalm 23:4 says, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." God isn't just waiting on the other side. He's walking with you, every step of the way. Let's explore what this destiny looks like. It's not about fame or fortune, though God may bless you with resources to fulfill your calling. It's about influence, holy, eternal influence. It's about the lives you'll touch, the chains you'll break, the hope you'll ignite. Think of Joseph, who went from a pit to a palace, not for his own glory, but to save nations from famine. Your destiny might look like mentoring a child who changes their community, or starting a project that restores hope, or simply being the one who shows love where there's been hate. Whatever it looks like, it's bigger than you, because God's plans always are. You might be wondering, what if I'm not ready for this kind of impact? Here's the truth, readiness is a myth. God doesn't call you when you're ready. He calls you when He's ready. Moses wasn't ready when he faced Pharaoh. He stuttered and doubted himself. Esther wasn't ready when she risked her life to save her people. She trembled before the king, but they acted and God moved. Your readiness comes in the doing, not the waiting. Those 3 steps, your goal, your connection, your action, are your training ground. There, where you build the muscles of faith that will carry you into your calling. Let's paint another picture. Imagine a garden, vibrant with life, but hidden beneath the surface are seeds waiting to break through. That's your life, right now. Your dreams, your prayers, your purpose. They're seeds, planted in the soil of your trials. The weight of your struggles wasn't meant to crush them, it was meant to press them deeper, so their roots could grow strong. Now, God is calling those seeds to sprout. He's sending the rain of His favor, the sunlight of His truth. Will you let them grow, or will you keep them buried under fear? Here's another story to inspire you. Grace, a retiree from Florida, spent decades caring for others but felt her own life lacked purpose. She dreamed of teaching art to children in her neighborhood but told herself she was too old, too inexperienced. One day, a message like this one stirred her spirit. She took action. She wrote down her vision for an art class, called a local community center and offered to volunteer. That small step led to a weekly class that now brings joy to dozens of kids and has sparked a city-wide art program for youth. Grace didn't wait for perfection. She trusted God's timing. And her legacy is growing. Your legacy is waiting, chosen one. It's not a distant hope. It's a present possibility. Those 3 steps are your starting point, your way of saying, God, I'm ready to build something eternal. You don't need all the answers. You need faith that moves. Matthew 17:20 says, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Your faith doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be active. Write that goal, make that call, take that step. Watch what God does with your obedience. If this message is igniting your spirit, pause and type in the comments, I am embracing my divine purpose. Your declaration is a battle cry, a signal that you're stepping into your calling. Share this video with someone who needs to know their purpose is still alive, that God hasn't given up on them. Your share could be the spark that changes their story. And if you're ready to walk this journey with others, subscribe to join a community of chosen ones chasing their divine purpose. You're not just hearing words. You're receiving a divine invitation. The door before you isn't a fantasy, it's a reality, glowing with the promises of God. Every trial has prepared you. Every prayer has positioned you. Every step has led you here. This is your moment, chosen one. The scroll is open, the angels are watching, and your destiny is calling. Will you answer? The air around you is electric, chosen one, pulsating with the weight of this divine moment. You're not just standing at a crossroads. You're at the edge of a spiritual frontier, where the ordinary ends and the extraordinary begins. This isn't a fleeting feeling. It's a holy summons. A call to step into the fullness of who God created you to be. The door before you, radiant with your name etched in celestial light, isn't just an opportunity. It's a gateway to a life that echoes through eternity. You were meant to hear this message, to feel this urgency, to recognize that every heartbeat is a drum roll announcing your destiny. The trials that scarred you, the doubts that haunted you, the dreams you buried, they're all rising, converging into this sacred now. Will you cross the threshold, or will you let this moment slip into the shadows of what could have been? Imagine a mountain peak, shrouded in mist, its summit hidden from the world below. You've been climbing, chosen one, through valleys of despair, over cliffs of rejection, against winds of doubt. Every step felt impossible, yet here you are, closer to the summit than you realize. That mist isn't hiding your failure, it's veiling your victory. God is lifting it now, revealing the view He's prepared for you. A life of purpose, a legacy of impact, a testimony that will outshine every struggle. Zephaniah 3:17 sings over you, "The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. In His love, He will no longer rebuke you, but will rejoice over you with singing." You're not climbing alone. God is cheering you on, His voice louder than the lies that tried to pull you back. Let's unpack why this moment feels so alive, so charged with possibility. It's not just inspiration, it's revelation. You've carried a vision, a spark of something bigger, maybe for years. Perhaps it's a ministry you've dreamed of launching, a family you long to restore, or a creative gift you've kept hidden. That spark isn't random. It's divine kindling, placed in your spirit by the one who spoke galaxies into existence. But the enemy has tried to smother it, piling on layers of fear, distraction, and comparison. He knows that if you fan that spark into a flame, it will set your life ablaze with purpose. Right now, God is breathing on that ember, calling you to ignite it. This message isn't random. It's the bellows God is using to stoke your fire. Let's talk about the chains that have tried to bind you. Not physical chains, but invisible ones. Regret, shame, the weight of others' expectations. These are the enemy's tools, forged to keep you tethered to a smaller story. But here's the truth that will shatter those chains. Your past is not your prison, it's your platform. Every mistake you've made, every wound you've carried, every moment you've carried, every moment you felt unworthy has been redeemed by God's grace. Romans 8:28 declares, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Your pain isn't pointless. It's purposeful, woven into a story that will inspire others to rise. The enemy wanted to bury you, but God is using your scars to build a beacon of hope. Picture a riverbank where a single pebble is tossed into the water. It seems small, insignificant, but the ripples spread, touching shores far beyond where it landed. That's your life, chosen one. Your obedience, your courage, your decision to step into this moment will create ripples that reach people you'll never meet, places you'll never visit, generations you'll never know. Your choice to trust God now isn't just about you. It's about the lives tied to your calling. Maybe it's a coworker who needs your encouragement, a child who needs your example, or a community waiting for the vision only you can bring. Your ripple could be the wave that changes everything. Let me share a story about Lila, a librarian from Denver who felt her life was stuck in a quiet, unremarkable routine. She loved books but dreamed of writing one herself, a devotional to help others find faith in hard times. For years she told herself it was a foolish idea. Who was she to write something meaningful? But one day, a message like this one pierced her heart. She took the 3 steps. She wrote down her goal to publish her book, called a friend who is a writer, and started drafting 1 page. That page grew into a manuscript, and today Lila's devotional is in church bookstores, touching lives across her city. Her small steps didn't just change her life, they became a lifeline for others. What ripples could your steps create? Those 3 steps, writing your goal, reaching out to someone, taking 1 small action, are your bridge to this new season. They're not just tasks, they're spiritual declarations. When you wrote that goal, you told heaven, "I believe in your plan." When you reached out, you dismantled the enemy's lie that you're alone. When you acted, you proved your faith is more than words. It's alive, moving, unstoppable. These steps are your way of partnering with God, of saying, "I'm ready to walk in my personal transformation." They're not about striving, They're about surrendering to the flow of His purpose. If this message is stirring your soul, pause and type in the comments, "I am igniting my divine spark." Your words are a torch, lighting the way for others in this community of chosen ones. Share this moment in the comments, because your declaration could be the push someone needs to fan their own flame. Imagine thousands of voices, united in faith, proclaiming their purpose. Be part of that fire. Type it now. I am igniting my divine spark. Let's address the temptation to wait, to think. I'll act when I'm more prepared, when life is less messy. That's a trap, chosen one. The enemy loves to sell you the myth of someday, knowing that someday never comes. God's timing doesn't wait for perfect conditions. When He called Gideon, he was hiding in a winepress, threshing wheat in fear. Yet Judges 6:12 says, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Gideon didn't feel mighty, but God saw what he could become. Right now, God sees the warrior in you, even if you feel small. Your preparation happens in the stepping, not the waiting. Those 3 steps are your training ground, where your faith grows stronger with every move. Imagine a tapestry of stars, each one unique, yet together forming constellations that guide travelers through the night. You're one of those stars, chosen one, placed in God's sky to shine for a specific purpose. Your light might feel dim to you, but to someone lost in darkness, it's a lifeline. Your story, your courage, your faith, they're part of a divine constellation guiding others toward hope. 1 Peter 2:9 calls you a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of Him who called you out of darkness into His wonderful light. Your calling isn't just to shine, it's to lead others to His light. Let's explore what's on the other side of this door. It's not a life free of challenges, but one filled with meaning. It's not about escaping pain, but transforming it into purpose. Your destiny might look like a quiet act of kindness that shifts a heart, or a bold venture that changes a community. It might be forgiving someone who hurt you, breaking a cycle of bitterness, or creating something that inspires faith. Whatever it is, it's yours, uniquely crafted for you. God doesn't call you to someone else's purpose, He calls you to yours. And it's waiting just beyond this threshold. You might be feeling a mix of awe and uncertainty, wondering if you're truly equipped for this. Let me remind you, God doesn't equip the ready, He readies the equipped. When He called the disciples, they were fishermen, tax collectors, ordinary men with no credentials. Yet they turned the world upside down because they trusted His call. Your equipment is your faith, your willingness, your 3 steps. Philippians 4:13 says, "I can do all this through Him who gives me strength." Your strength doesn't come from you, it comes from the one who never fails. Picture a seed breaking through the earth, its fragile shoot pushing against the weight of the soil. That's you right now, chosen one. The soil of your trials has pressed you, but it's also nourished you. Your breakthrough isn't about escaping the soil, it's about growing through it. Those 3 steps are your roots, anchoring you as you reach for the light. Every goal you write, every connection you make, every action you take is a shoot of faith, proving that you're not buried. You're blooming. If this message is setting your spirit on fire, pause and type in the comments, "I am rising in my divine calling." Your declaration is a beacon, calling others to rise with you. Share this video with someone who needs to know their calling is still alive, that God is still working. Your share could be the seed that sparks their breakthrough. And if you're ready to stay rooted in this journey, Subscribe to join a community of chosen ones shining their light. Your next step could be the one that changes everything. You're not here by chance, chosen one. This message is your divine wake-up call, your invitation to step into a story bigger than you've dared to dream. The door is open, the stars are aligned, and your destiny is whispering your name. Will you rise, or will you wait until the mist settles and the summit fades from view? The mist is clearing, chosen one, and the summit of your destiny is coming into view, sharper and more radiant than you ever imagined. You're not just standing at the edge of a moment, you're poised at the dawn of a new era in your life, where the promises God whispered in your heart begin to take shape. This isn't a random message scrolling through your feed. It's a divine dispatch sent to awaken the warrior within you. The door before you, glowing with the weight of eternity, is creaking open, inviting you to step into a story that will outlive the stars. Every wound you've carried, every hope you've clung to, every silent prayer you've offered has been building toward this now. The Creator of the universe has called you by name, and the question echoing through heaven is this: will you rise, or will you let this sacred moment pass unclaimed? Imagine a vast desert, stretching endlessly under a sky heavy with twilight. In the distance, a single flame flickers, defying the darkness. That flame is you, chosen one, burning with a purpose that no storm can extinguish. The desert of your trials, loneliness, failure, uncertainty, hasn't been your punishment, it's been your proving ground. God has been teaching you to shine where others fade, to stand where others fall, to burn brightly when the world grows. Malachi 3:2-3 paints this picture. He will be like a refiner's fire. He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. Your struggles have been the fire purifying you, not to diminish you, but to reveal the brilliance of who you were always meant to be. This message isn't random, it's the spark to set your purpose ablaze. Let's dive into the heart of why this moment feels like a holy interruption. You've sensed it, haven't you? A quickening in your spirit, a feeling that something is shifting, even if you can't name it. That's not your imagination, it's the Spirit of God moving, aligning your life with His eternal timeline. You've carried dreams that feel too big, burdens that feel too heavy, and questions that feel unanswered. But those aren't signs of weakness. They're markers of your calling. The weight you've borne is the evidence of your strength. The dreams you've held are the blueprint of your destiny, and the questions you've asked are the doorway to your divine purpose. This isn't about chasing fleeting moments of inspiration. It's about stepping into a legacy that changes the world. Consider the lie that's tried to silence you, that you're too late, that your time has passed, that others are more qualified to live the life you dream of. That lie is the enemy's desperate attempt to keep you from this threshold. He knows that when you step forward, his grip on your life and the lives you're meant to touch will shatter. Ephesians 2:10 declares, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works which God prepared in advance for us to do." Before the earth was formed, God prepared a path for you, a work only you can do. Your delays, your detours, your doubts, they haven't disqualified you, they've deepened you, equipping you for a mission that demands your unique story. Picture a symphony, each instrument distinct yet harmonizing to create something breathtaking. You're an instrument in God's orchestra, chosen one, crafted to play a melody no one else can. Your life, every joy, every sorrow, every triumph, every trial, is a note in His composition. The world may have tried to mute you, but God is tuning you, calling you to play your part in a song that will resonate through eternity. Your melody might be one of healing, of justice, of creativity, or of compassion. Whatever it is, it's vital, and the symphony is incomplete without you. This message is your cue to pick up your instrument and play. Let me tell you about Ezra, a carpenter from Boise who felt his life was a series of missed opportunities. He dreamed of building homes for families in need, inspired by his own childhood in a struggling household. But fear of failure and financial constraints kept him stuck, working jobs that paid the bills but drained his soul. One night, a message like this one stirred something deep within him. He took the 3 steps. He wrote down his vision to start a non-profit for affordable housing, called a colleague who shared his passion, and researched one local charity to partner with. Those steps led to a small project, then a grant, and now Ezra's non-profit has built homes for over a dozen families. His story isn't about overnight success. It's about trusting God's call over his own limitation. What could your steps unlock? Those 3 steps, writing your goal, reaching out to someone, taking one small action, are your melody, your way of joining God's symphony. They're not just actions, they're acts of worship, proving that your faith is alive and your purpose is active. When you wrote that goal, you composed a note of trust. When you reached out, you harmonized with God's design for community. When you acted, you played a chord that resonates in heaven. These steps aren't about perfection, they're about participation, about saying, God, I'm ready to sing my part in your story. If this message is setting your heart alight, pause and type in the comments, I am playing my divine melody. Your words are a crescendo, calling others to join the symphony of faith. Share this moment in the comments, because your declaration could be the note someone needs to hear to pick up their own instrument. Imagine a chorus of chosen ones, each playing their unique melody, creating a sound that shakes the heavens. Be part of that song. Type it now, I am playing my divine melody. Let's confront the shadow that's trying to mute you. The fear of being seen, of standing out, of failing in front of others. That fear is a thief, stealing the music God placed in you. But here's the truth. Your vulnerability is your strength. When you step forward, flaws and all, you give others permission to do the same. Think of Peter, who denied Jesus 3 times, yet became the rock on which the church was built. His failures didn't disqualify him. They humanized him, making his testimony relatable and real. Your imperfections don't diminish your calling, they amplify it, showing the world that God's power shines brightest through cracked vessels. Imagine a potter at his wheel, shaping a lump of clay into a vessel of beauty. The clay doesn't resist, it yields, trusting the potter's hands. That's you, chosen one, in the hands of the master potter. Your trials have been his gentle pressure, shaping you into a vessel for his glory. Isaiah 64:8 says, Yet you, Lord, are our Father. We are the clay, you are the potter. We are all the work of your hand. Your cracks, your scars, your doubts. They're part of the design, making you a vessel that holds his light uniquely. This message is your reminder to yield, to trust, to let God shape your story into something eternal. Let's explore the impact of your melody. When you step into your calling, you don't just change your life, you change the atmosphere. Your courage becomes a catalyst, sparking faith in others. Your obedience becomes a key, unlocking doors for those trapped in despair. Your story becomes a map, guiding the lost toward hope. Think of Deborah, a judge and prophetess who rallied Israel to victory. Her boldness didn't just free her people, it inspired Barak to lead, showing that one person's faith can ignite a movement. Your faith could be the spark that starts a revival, a reconciliation, a revolution of hope. You might be thinking, but what if my melody isn't enough? What if I play and no one listens? Here's the truth. God doesn't measure your impact by the size of your audience, but by the depth of your obedience. When you play your note, heaven hears, and that's enough. The widow who gave 2 coins in Mark 12:42 didn't have much, but Jesus said she gave more than all the others because she gave all she had. Your all, your faith, your steps, your trust, is more powerful than you know. Those 3 steps are your offering, your way of giving everything to God's purpose. Picture a single candle in a darkened room, its flame small but piercing. That's your faith right now, chosen one, cutting through the shadows of doubt and fear. One candle can light another and another until the room is ablaze. Your steps, writing that goal, reaching out, acting, are your way of lighting candles, spreading light to those around you. Matthew 5:16 urges, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Your light isn't for you alone. It's for the world, for God's glory, for the symphony of His kingdom. If this message is resonating deep in your spirit, pause and type in the comments, "I am shining my divine light." Your declaration is a flame, inviting others to shine with you. Share this video with someone who needs to know their light still burns, that God hasn't dimmed their purpose. Your share could be the spark that lights their candle. And if you're ready to keep your flame burning, subscribe to join a community of chosen ones, radiating God's light. Your next step could be the one that sets the world aglow.